So you can lie down or sit down, whatever feels good to you. And Amy, it's good to see you in this class. Well done for making it. Okay, let's do it. So sitting or lying, and start by settling into a comfortable position for you, or a position that is as comfortable as possible for you. And if you're seated, you might want to put a pillow underneath your bottom so it doesn't put too much strain on your back to hold yourself up. And if you're lying, you might want to adjust the pillow so you can get really nice and comfy. That's it. Allow your eyes to close, or you could keep them open with a softened gaze. And begin by taking long, slow and deep breaths. Inhaling fully, ideally in and out through your nose. And bring your full attention to noticing each in-breath as it enters your nostrils, travelling down to your lungs, causing your belly to expand. Notice each out-breath as your belly contracts and air moves through the lungs back up through your nose. So you're inviting your full attention to flow with your breath. And on days when you're feeling lots of pain, just doing this one simple exercise can draw your attention away from your pain to your breath. So that's the very simplified start of mindfulness. But you could go a little bit further and then start to let go of any noises around you. And with this one, you're not trying to control your breath, you're just letting it be. And your mind might wander to thoughts or future planning or worrying. So simply observe these thoughts, the thoughts that hook or distract you, and notice your mind wandering. And watch the thoughts as they enter through your awareness just as neutrally as possible. Then practice letting go of the thought. Imagine it's like a leaf floating down the stream. Practice coming back to the breath with your full attention. Bring your awareness to the gentle rise of your stomach on your in-breath and the relaxing letting go on the out-breath. And you may become distracted by pain or discomfort in the body, or twitching or itching sensations that draw your attention away from the body. You may also notice feelings arising. It could be sadness or happiness or frustration or contentedness. So simply notice where your mind goes without judging it, without pushing it away or clinging to it or wishing it could be different. And refocus your mind and guide your attention back to your breath. Following the air all the way in and all the way out. Whenever your mind wanders, just notice and let it be. And then gently, slowly allow your attention to expand to notice your entire body and the overall sensation of the entire body, the whole body. Noticing how it feels now. And then your body beyond the room to the room you are in. Noticing how the room feels, any temperature, any sounds, the surface underneath you. When you feel ready, gently flutter your eyelashes open and come back. Now you've settled your body into a lying down posture, if you're not already lying down. We're going to start with lengthening our spine, so you might want to lift the spine up and lengthen it. Hey Katie, well done for making it. And then you might want to move your shoulders away from your ears and settle them down. And allow your knees to bend if they're not already. We're going to very gently tilt the pubic bone towards your nose and then tilt the pubic bone towards your toes. So it's nice and smooth and gentle as we tilt. And I'd like you to notice the feeling of the middle of your back moving into the bed. And I'm not talking about extreme feelings here, I'm just talking about very gentle movement. Being guided by your breath. So you breathe out, pubic bone to nose. Breathing in, pubic bone to toes, introducing a very small arch to your back. And then move this, change this move into a circle. So you're now circling the pelvis. So remember the marble on a plate that we've done before. So you've got this plate on your pelvis and you've got the marble on it and you're spinning it round and round, but really slowly. Try not to allow your knees to sway just yet, it's just coming from the pelvis. Breathing out and breathing in. And you could put your hands on your pelvis if you want to feel the movement. And then we're going to involve the head as well. So as the pubic bone lifts up, your head will lift. As the pubic bone moves down, your head will move. So you're going to basically draw circles with your pubic bone and your nose. And these do not need to be big. They can be really small. Remembering that we've all got conditions where we want to really push things hard. And actually, sometimes gentler movement is more effective. So let's go the other way as well. And then bringing your pelvis to somewhere in the middle. So we're now going to move onto our tummies, but I'd like to encourage you to close your eyes when we do this movement on our tummies, so you're not turning your head to look at me, and we'll do it together. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? If you don't want to be on your tummy, you can do this on your back as well. So it's literally exactly the same, but you're just the other way around to what we're doing. Okay. So we're going to be on our tummies only if it feels like it could be a good thing for you. And then you might want to put a little cushion underneath your forehead, just so you've got room for your nose to breathe. Or you might want to just let your forehead rest on the mat and place the hands either side of your shoulders That's it. Now, if you're lying on your back, you don't need to put hands either side of your shoulders, okay? So ignore that bit for back lying. And then I'd like you to lengthen the legs. So you're going to kind of lift one up and draw it away from you. And then lift the other one up and draw it away from you. And try and shuffle the pelvis away so you're creating space in your spine. And then we're doing nothing more now than breathing. And as we breathe out, lifting the tummy, tilting pubic bone to nose. Breathing in to release. So breathing out, pubic bone to nose. Breathing in to release. And I want you to feel the shape of your back as you're doing these ones. So nice and gentle, keeping the back of your neck nice and long. And notice how when you tilt your pubic bone towards your nose, your tailbone is lengthening away from you and you're creating space in your lower back. So pubic bone to nose, imagine that tailbone sinking away from you and then returning. And feel the tightness of your muscles against the mat as you're tilting pubic bone to nose and then releasing. And then I'd like you to keep that pubic bone towards your nose like you're trying to create the space in your lower back. As we then slide the shoulder blades together and down and then release. So some people, when they're doing this one, they prefer to have their hands down by their sides as opposed to by their shoulders. So you can choose whichever works for you. I prefer hands by shoulders myself. This is whatever feels better for you. So you're here and you're sliding the shoulder blades together and down and then releasing, but your pubic bone still stays lifted towards your nose with that space that you have created in your lower back. And you're breathing here as well. Nice deep breaths. And notice how most of you will probably be activating your glutes right now to support. See if you could get really soft glutes, but still keep pubic bones facing towards your nose. So you're still keeping the lower parts of your spine long. It means lots of tummy muscles are needing to activate here. As you're sliding the shoulder blades together and down and releasing. And then with your breath, you're going to slide the shoulder blades together and down, keeping the length in your lower back as you gently guide the chest away from the mat, keeping your neck nice and long so you're not letting your head hang or lift. And then return. Really focusing on the length in your lower back. Now, if you're on your back, you're basically doing this upside down, so you're going to flex instead. You're lifting your shoulders up off the mat instead. So keep it smooth and gentle. Try not to look up. So try and keep that head so your eyes will be looking down to the mat and a little bit ahead of you as your chest lifts. Still maintaining that length in your lower back. Because often people, when they're doing tummy lying, they find their lower back gets quite uncomfortable. And that's because you're kind of scrunching it up and you may find that you're lifting up your tailbone. So you're keeping pubic bone to nose, tummy lifted as you lift. And also people like us tend to come too high. Okay, so we're trying to keep this really gentle and smooth and small. That's it. And then I'd like you to rest your head on your hands, one hand on top of the other. Still keeping pubic bone to nose. Explore what your pelvis wants to do as you bring one leg, one heel towards your buttocks, and then return. And if you're tight in the quads and the hip flexors, you will probably notice your tailbone lifts when you lift the heel towards your buttocks. So I don't want you to come too far if that's the case. So just a little bit as you bring heel to buttocks and release, and explore how it feels with both. Now, a lot of people with dislocating kneecaps, find this quite difficult. So what you could do is lift the legs slightly up off the mat, so the kneecaps aren't sliding around on the mat underneath you. So that'll be a bit of a buttock squeeze to lift, and then return. And the other option is keeping the knees slightly bent, and then you've got less to travel, so you go a bit here instead, because it's when your legs are lengthened that you might be, subluxing your kneecaps. It's nice and gentle. Noticing still how your bum is wanting to lift, but I still want you to try and keep your pubic bone towards your nose as you're doing this. And then swaying the knees side to side like windscreen wipers. But if you keep your knees bent here, you're less likely to sublux your kneecaps. So feel your bum shuffle from side to side. I like this one because I feel like I'm giving my thighs a massage too. So notice if your quads are getting a bit of a massage against the mat. That's it. And obviously if you're upside down, you're swaying your knees, not your feet. Well done. Okay. Then you're either going to roll over onto your backs and hug your knees in towards your chest, or you're going to push up and back into a prayer stretch, remembering to keep your knees open so you can still breathe, so you've got space for your tummies, and relax. So you're either like this, or you're upside down, hugging your knees, still wide like this. So choose what works for you. What we're trying to do is, even though I kept talking about keeping the bottom of your back lengthened, we still need a little bit of flexion there after you've been doing tummy line. And then when you're ready, lying over onto your backs. We're going to tummies now. Hello, Samantha, you made it, well done.
I couldn't get in with the link, it wouldn't work.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, well done for getting in.
Okay.
Okay, so bringing the feet down. You missed all the chilled bits.
Okay.
So open the hands to the sky, make sure your shoulders aren't up by your knees. And take a couple of breaths because we need to just stabilise where our blood has been going. So take some breaths to make sure that you've got enough oxygen in your brain as well, after rolling all over the place. And then bring your knees together and your feet together. And imagine that I've come along and I've zipped you up, all the way from your toes up to your pubic bone. That's it. Which means that when you move your knees towards one side, your foot is forced to lift up in line. So then your ankles stay stacked and your knees stay stacked on top of each other, and then return back. So I'll just give a demo with my hands. So imagine my hands are my kneecaps, okay? And as we move towards one side, can you see my elbow is lifting up? And it stays in line, so my knees are completely together. What I tend to see when we do this is people leaving their foot behind and their knees sliding like this, but we're going for this one, this version. And this works your tummy more. The one where we leave our feet on the floor is one that just kind of mobilizes the spine and the tummy muscles. Whereas this one, if you breathe in as you move out, and breathe out as you move in, you're activating your tummy muscles to bring yourself back to the center. And we get to the nice deep ones, the deep obliques here as well, as you return back to the center. So breathing in and breathing out. That's it. Gorgeous. You all remembered then? That's it. Notice what your back wants to do if you go too far. So if I go too far in this position here, then my back wants to arch and my head slides down the pillow, which means you've gone too far. So you notice those body signs to give you clues, because our bodies could go really far if we wanted them to. But notice what they're doing and how it feels. Okay, you can go a little bit harder if you want. So options are either feet up in this position here, so still squeezing the legs together, or you could do one leg, okay? So if you're doing one leg, you're sending it out, still embedding the pelvis into the mat, and return. And then you would swap to the other side. So we're going to alternate, so you don't end up doing more on one side than the other. So you've got that option, or you've got this option. And if lifting your legs into the air today isn't an option for you, you can keep your feet down and do this one, to the one leg out and return, and then the other. So you're listening to your bodies. That's it. So breathing in and breathing out. That's it. Breathing in. For those of you with really heavy legs, remember your tips and tricks, like using great big balls like this to rest your legs on. And then, if bringing your arms up in the air is available to you today, we're going to move the opposite arm away from the direction of the legs and return. Breathing in and breathing out. And I'll show you all the other options. We've got the leg, breathing in and back, or we have got the lower down leg. That's it. So you're choosing whatever is good for you today as you breathe and return. And then when you're ready, hug your knees in towards your chest and circle them around, taking some deep breaths. So you could be circling them away from each other like this, or you could be circling them in like this. I like this one because I feel like I'm giving my back a massage. That's it. Okay, right. Now we're going to shoulder bridge, and we're going to involve our chest today as well. It's almost like we're going to turn into a bit of a rocking horse. So we're going to make sure our feet are hip width apart. And remember, if you're not getting any height when we move into the shoulder bridge and you're coming up to here instead, but you're still activating the tummy and the buttocks, that's perfect. So don't worry about height, it's not important. So we're going to worship the ceiling by peeling up and bringing the hands to the height that feels good to you. And then we're going to breathe out as we peel down and lift the chest and reach to the hands. Lisa, please be really careful with this. There's a bit more flexion in your spine. That's it. So if you want to avoid the chest lift, that's absolutely fine. It's whatever feels good to you. So deep breathing. That's it. And some people find that they get loads of tension in their neck and shoulders. So what you could do is rest your head in your hands. And I do mean rest. I don't want you to yank your head forward using your hands as you're gently rocking. So let's have one final one. And then rest your heads. And grab hold of your bands if you were clever enough to leave one nearby, which I forgot. Whoops. Or your tights, whatever you've got. And you can do this without anything at all as well if you want to. It's absolutely fine.
Oh, it's on the floor.
Oh no, it's on the floor.
The floor, my grabber is in the other room. Never mind.
Do this without. Okay, so you'll still get muscle activation. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do, and you'll notice I've tied it a few times around my hands. I went like this a few times, and that's just so I'm too lazy to grip. But it just means your hands aren't having to hold on so tight, but just try not to get it too tight around your fingers. So first we're going to do hand spacing away from you, and you're going to very gently pull out and then return. And it will look exactly the same if you don't have a band. Pulling the hands away from you, slowly, and returning. Feel the shoulder blades gliding down your chest, squeezing together, and returning. Amy, is that stretchy as well?
No.
No. You're going to be working hard, bless you. Nice and gently, hands away from each other, and returning. Okay, then we're going to change slightly. So we're going to hold one hand by our hip, and the other hand is going to draw up towards the shoulder and return. So here you might want to get a bit more resistance in your band and do it. That's it, you're keeping your shoulders down. So you might need to wiggle the shoulders away from your ears as you do this. So it's a gentle bicep curl. Lisa, you're a genius.
Doing it with my t-shirt.
Very
Sorry, I'm showing my bra. I'm sorry.
I can't see, don't worry. I'm good at facial expressions in group settings like that, but I can't see like underwear or anything like that. And then we're going to swap, so holding by your hip, bicep curling, ooh, up and down, trying to keep your elbow still. Try not to lock it when you send the hand away. Also, are you all still breathing?
No.
Anyone forget? Yeah. Okay. It's worth just thinking about breath as well at some point. Well done. I mean, we're lucky because our autonomic nervous system does make us breathe at some point when we really need to. But it's also great to oxygenate our bodies by breathing while we do these big ones. Ooh, this one's quite hard, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Okay, the next one, bringing the hands above your head, introducing a little bit of activation, resistance in the band, and bending at the elbows, and then pushing back up again. That's it. Now, the more resistance you have in the band here, the more you're going to activate the muscles here, the shoulder stabilizers underneath. So obviously there's lots of shoulder stabilizers, but this is another one that I really like, and it's a really big muscle. As you're doing this one, trying to keep the elbows still. Now remember, we've all got different body shapes, so if you need to be here, that's also fine too. Okay, so you work out what's going to be best for you. Now my arms are feeling this, is anyone else's?
Yeah.
Whew! Should we rest? Oh. That's it. So taking some breaths, you might want to wiggle. So. And then let's go to the legs. We haven't done too much legs today. So use your best lassoing technique to get the band underneath your foot.
Ouch.
Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then bring the knee in and push the foot away. That's it. Drawing it in and push the foot away. Try and keep your elbows tucked down by your sides as you do this. That's it. Well done. And then we're going to draw the leg up. And if you don't have a band, you could keep your knee bent, or if you prefer to have your knee bent, you could bring the band underneath your leg instead, like this. So we're going to circle It's going to draw little circles. That's it. And you will remember what I said about stretching with EDS, if you've got ADS. No? So we tend to hold the stretch. No, we tend not to hold the stretch, we tend to move in and out of stretches. Yeah. Don't listen to that first bit. So this nice kind of undulating is much more effective for our bodies. Let's go the other way if you haven't already. That's it. So your shoulders are relaxed, hopefully. That's it. And we'll take a break for our fingers before we go to the other side. So give your fingers a little bit of a rest. Ah, Maddie's here as well. Okay. So wiggle them. Well done. And then we're going to put the band under the other foot. So swapping sides, band underfoot, elbows relaxed. And we're going to bend the knee and push away. So just double check that you haven't suddenly lifted your elbows to your shoulders to your ears. That's it. Welcome, Maddie, are you okay? That's it.
Hiya, yeah, I'm all right. It's my carer only just left, sorry.
Oh, not helpful, is it?
No.
So you can do this with or without a band. So just choose what feels good to you. We've got a couple of members here who haven't got bands today, or scarf, belt, whatever you've got. And then we're going to lift the leg to the sky and not hold the stretch. We're going to move in and out with gentle circles. That's it. We've also got some members being particularly inventive with using clothes, which I love. That's it. You won't love me when you've stretched them all out, will you? So, and if you haven't already, go the opposite way as well.
Wow.
What was that?
Can't go the opposite way with that leg. That's really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, it doesn't want to do it. I will make it do it.
I'm trying to replicate it, but I can't, Lisa. And then when you're ready, bring the band behind your knees, let the knees bend. And we're going to gently rock side to side. That's it. Nice rocks. Breathing. I like using belts and bands for underneath knees when I do things like this, especially if your legs are really heavy. This really helps. But obviously you can discard the band if you want to and use your hands. Okay, now I've got something to do for some of you should you want to do it. We're going to move into a seated position. So this is purely optional. It's called a teaser. Okay, so this is optional. Have a look at it. Lisa, I'd advise you not to do this just yet, okay? And anyone else who's got like ruptured discs or fused spines, I'd suggest you push yourself gently and seated instead. So we're going to start here, for those of you who want to give it a go, and push the legs down to then lift the chest up and then gently lower down. I think it's great fun. That's if you can get up. If you're on a bed, it's harder because you don't have the support for your tummy to push it to.
I couldn't do it.
I love it when I see people like going, oh, forward, back, oh, no, can't get up again. It's great. Okay. But, okay, so this band is going to go behind or underneath both feet. And you're going to sit tall. If you would rather stay lying, that's absolutely fine as well, okay? So we're going to stretch out the back of the legs. So if you're seated, you're going to very gently draw the band out and bring your head towards knees. No, I'm not going very far. And then coming back, okay? If you're lying down, hold on behind your thigh and press the heel to the sky instead. Gentle one. So choose what's going to work better for you. So you're holding behind thigh as opposed to knee. If you're lying down, so gentle reach and then come back out of it nice and tall, breathing in. Gorgeous. Nice deep breaths. And one more. And those lying down, did you manage to get to your other leg as well? No, okay, do the other leg. Those sitting up, we're going to draw back this way instead this time. So we're going to bring ourselves down, drawing the elbows back and then returning. That's it. It's because I forgot to prompt swapping legs, isn't it? Whoops.
Yeah.
There we go. Sometimes brain fog and teaching doesn't mix very well. That's it. Well done. One more like this. And then ping the band away from you. You're done with the band. And get into a comfy seated position, or if you prefer to lie down, that's fine. So if you're lying down, you're going to keep the feet on the floor, but sway the knees side to side very gently and slowly. If you're sitting up, you're going to reach up and over, breathing in. So either here or here or here. So choose what's better for your arms and shoulders, breathing in. And exhale, swapping sides. That's it, breathing deeply. And exhale. That's it. And again. And then my favourite of all, because I get tight in my sacroiliac joint, is reaching beyond the knee in that direction and returning and swapping. So the alternative for that, if you're lying down, is legs a bit wider and reaching the hand towards the other side and returning like this. Well done. So reach, pushing the opposite hip into the floor and reach. And then coming tall, a gentle C curve and back, and a gentle chest to sky. And then sitting as tall as you can, that's it. Breathing in, lifting the arms to the sky. And exhale, push the hands down past your chest in celebration of a small amount of tummy activation, a bit more of legs, lots of arms and shoulders, and a bit of a chill at the start as well. Well done, everybody. You've done amazingly.